Greetings, one and all. Another Stargods vlog. Yeehaw! Where are you going? I if you people have a complaint, there's something you object to, or you don't like, or something you'd like to correct, because I got it out wrong. Uh, Let me know. Let me know. I just got a comment from a person that said that, yeah, I like your stuff, but you repeat way too much. I didn't take offense because it's true. I do repeat, and I'm really working on it. I'm trying to clear up the old brain because I don't script this out. I don't write all my notes. Very rarely do I put notes, and it just comes out of my head. And you know how that can be at times. Gets all jumbled up. I really appreciated the comment, and I appreciate any serious comment you want. If you don't agree, fine, but just emailing a comment saying "F you, motherfucker," well, that doesn't solve anything. It doesn't add anything to the narrative. In other words, get out. I'll take it out, but otherwise, I don't censor at all. People can say, I've had people just go crazy on me in the comments, and I let them go for a while, but then it got to an excruciating, nauseating level, and I had to, block them out. Uh, yeah, I say you can if you've got an opinion, I don't care what opinion. If it's against what I'm saying, if it's against this, or if you think I'm a poo poo head, whatever. That's how I learn. Let give me the feedback. That's how I learn. So I was going to put this exclusively on my Patreon because I think I know how to work it now, and I still need to find a site that gives allows you free uploading of private videos that work with Patreon and doesn't cost you money. It's got to be free because these sites now are all, oh yeah, we upload private videos at $30-40 a month. Like, yeah, forget it. I'm just against that whole premise of, you know, what's in your wallet. So, trying to think here. I got like billion thoughts, like machine guns. I yeah, so I really want to state that YouTube is really going to kick me out anytime. So if I'm gone, go to Utah Gun Exchange platform. The link is in below, huge or whatever you can say. And I'll be there. That's where my main focus is for my free videos. And the ones that I don't get too deep, it's just, and then the private videos will be on my Patreon page, and it will be deeper stuff. So don't imagine people will be too interested in it. Where's the girl pouring water over her head in slow motion? I don't get it. I'm not subscribing. So you'll find a deeper material, more dedicated material on Patreon, and then public later stuff will be on my UGE or YouTube if it's still operating, because they're getting ready to. So anyway, I used to listen to a lot about the Anunnaki, right? And the Anunnaki, I used to go, oh yeah, well, yeah, whatever, blah blah. That's when I was really a Christian. That's not in the Bible, so I don't believe it. I curse it to hell. Um, Yeah, I used to. But there were things that disturbed me about it that I didn't like, and anyways, where do they all come from? Where does all this Anunnaki come from? It comes from Sitchin, who had no training no knowledge of linguistics or ancient languages or nothing. Yeah, I don't know how he translated it, but he did say, in fact, I think it's written in the front of one of his books that, comes out of his head, a lot of it, eh? Like, let's say you read the Bible, you got Bible script and it says, the Lord God is the God of supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. What do you do with that? Well, you make it up. You make something up, or you make up a doctrine or something. You take that word and you give it a whole different meaning, you know, because you don't know what that's what translation's all about, using your imagination, unfortunately. So these clay tablets, they're 6,000 years old. The clay tablets, and they have, you know, printing on it, and they tell a story that is really, really amazing, and tell a story about the Anunnaki. Anyways, it's like a fact sheet, and it has nothing to do with God or concept of God or nothing. It's just a piece of chunk of history, and it goes about talking about the beginning of the creation of the earth and Adam and Eve, and all the same story in the Bible today. But the thing is, it had nothing to do with God or anything. What happened was these texts were, or what do you call it, with the clay tablets, they were produced about 6,000 years ago, long before Abraham was even a twinkle in God's eye. I mean, come on. And they tell us the story that they have an Adum, or I forget. It's been a while since I studied the Anunnaki. Adam and Eve and the whole story and blah, blah, blah. But it's a different story. But what the Bible has done, maybe Jewish mystics or something, or whoever put the Old Testament together, took the entire story and then added, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and they made it a holy scripture. And it's not. It's an historical outline. And so they added, in the beginning, and then they started with the Sumerian story. And they modified it a bit, and they added a few things. But basically, the book of Genesis is the writings of Sumer, which was 6,000 years ago, long before the Bible was ever, So, but they do something very interesting. Paul Wallace really drives this home. Watch his video. He's got one video that's 4 hours long, and it goes from everything from A to Z. I can't send you the link because I haven't found it yet. I downloaded it, but I can't send it. And so, in the beginning, God, the Jews wrote the Old Testament. In the beginning, God. That word God is plural. It's in the beginning, gods created the heaven. I think it's heaven singular. I'm wondering. I have to look this up. I think in the original language, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Well, that really kicks home, because if that's singular, then that means the firmament has been bolstered, and the idea of a dome, a prison dome, is hit home a little closer with in the beginning, God created the heaven, the dome, the vault, and the earth. I don't know. I got to relook that up. I just throw it your way so you can look it up. Yeah. And so in the beginning, God's created the heaven and the earth. This thing, the gods, is the root word that's translated as Elohim, which is plural. It means gods. And so they try to say, the damage control people and the spin doctors of Christianity. Oh, no, no, that's the Holy Spirit. That's Jesus and God. But that's not what let us go forth down to the earth. And that's not what he's referring to. So Paul Wallace makes a very, very strong case for the gods being interpreted the strong ones. Now, I would say the shining ones. And if you want to go down a rabbit hole, look up shining ones, ancient shining ones. I think that would be a better translation, but I would have to talk to Paul Wallace. And so these are the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki, well, okay, they didn't create this world. They didn't create this world as a simulation, and it wasn't created by the Anunnaki. It wasn't. Um, Make sure my setting is okay here. Yeah, so it's so complex. Anyways, the Anunnaki home planet is Nibiru, which is going to come near Earth, and they're going to jump off Nibiru and come to the Earth, and all this. And I don't buy it because this is how you say, a race of aliens that are so well. I gotta explain where they came from now. In the beginning, there was Jehovah, who's not the real God. He's the God wannabe. He's the Jewish God of wrath, vengeance, and war. And he appears out of nowhere, and there's a story behind that. And he thinks that he is the God of everything. He has an ego that is unbelievable. There is no other gods except me. His ego. He'll kill you if you don't worship his ego. If you don't praise, it says when we die, we're going to go to heaven and praise his holy name forever and ever. Amen Ra. I just, wow. And so he created, after he came into existence, he created 6 others, which were archons, with Yahweh, or Jehovah, whatever you want to call him, as the chief archon. These are malevolent, evil entities. Jehovah is, you can do a case study on it and have your brain just blown. Like, whoa, that guy's mean. Anyways, he is. He's the god of vengeance, wrath, war. He is a self-proclaimed jealous god. He will smite you right where you stand if you even glance at another god. This guy's a born killer. He exterminates over 2 million people in the Old Testament. And so I don't trust the archons. The archons are basically, you can see them maybe as the fallen angels or something. They so they are the Anunnaki. The archons are the Anunnaki. I think it's fairly easy to establish that. So when they fell out of heaven, that's when the Anunnaki appeared. When the archons, they had a war with Jehovah. They don't like Jehovah. There's always been this friction. There's always been wars. They don't like Yahweh, but Yahweh is so pumped. He's this Sylvester Stallone, and he's going to prove himself. And so there have been wars. Look at the Tower of Babel. They were going to go up there and overthrow him. That's what the story was about. Many people don't really understand. They think, oh, well, it's just a bunch of wild, crazy, womanizing jerks drinking, getting drunk, doing drugs, and they wanted to take over the world, so God had to wipe them out with a flood. No, they were rebellious. I don't think they came down. Oh, this is a big subject. Oh my goodness. They came down from and they were thrown. There was war in heaven, and the angels were thrown cast to the earth. The Luciferian War, and they were cast to the earth, and they decided, hey, look at that babe over there, and turns out they have genitals, and they're pretty human-like, eh? And they in their very own DNA, they have that twinkle for women, eh? And so they came down, had babies, and those were the Nephilim, and the Nephilim did not like Jehovah. There's been a war of the heavens since I don't know time began. So the Nephilim came down, and what you'll see now, I don't want to get into it too much, but the Nephilim bloodline is actually the royal family. That's the ruling class of the Nephilim bloodline of today. They don't like Jehovah. They hate him. They hate him, and they're always wanting to rebel against him. The Tower of Babel and all this is a perfect example. Lucifer waging war, you know, and so they're here, the Nephilim, and so they are of archon blood. Uh, which see, the Anunnaki is another word for the archons. And so the Anunnaki fell and kind of went, look at that babe. And then they had babies, and then these babies were giants, and the Nephilim. So they say now that with the Anunnaki, they're going to return because their planet is on its way. It's going to make, they have to wait on with their planet for the return. With their technology, as high as it is. I mean, it doesn't take more than 5 minutes to figure it out. Their technology is unbelievable, godlike. They engineered the world. They didn't create mankind. They engineered mankind through DNA. That's pretty self-evident. And so, but then now after they engineered mankind and mankind, evolved from a lower species to, this is where the evolution thing comes in because it's partially true. It's partially true. They came down, saw the lower species of animals, probably the apes, and said, well, let's genetically alter them. Yeah, look up the story. I can't explain everything because I'll be here all day and night. Um, so they came down and okay, let's get back to they're on their way. So it's Sitchin had no linguistic skills at all. As I say, it's out of his head. A lot of it's made up. And I think this part was made up or it's a cover story, but they have to wait on their planet to get here. Like there's no such thing as wormholes or dimensional shifting or anything like that. They have to wait on this planet, which is thousands of years. I forget what it is. Then they're going to jump off their planet onto our planet and take over. Now, they're not really good guys, but they have a hatred towards Yahweh. I could really get into the examples, but it's just going to take too long. It's already 18 minutes. But the cover story, one other cover story was the fact that they had problems with their atmosphere. And they had to come to Earth because gold is what was needed to repair their breaking down atmosphere, their atmosphere that was breaking down, better English. And, well, there's Earth. There's all. So when they originally came, they were mining the gold. This was their excuse for mining gold because their atmosphere was breaking down. I say no, because gold is known for interdimensional qualities that it contains. It's an interdimensional. They're not coming in spaceships. They appear. I mean, they're interdimensional, and they're very. It's really weird because they're so human-like. They see the women, They've got the DNA to hump with women. They got the crotch to hump women. They got everything. They seem quite human like. But it says that they created mankind in their own image and likeness. So I don't think there are groups of Anunnaki that want to help mankind, but the majority really want to rule mankind and destroy most of mankind because now we're populated too great that we could overthrow them. It happened in their past, and they don't want to go through that again. So, the so yeah, in the Bible, in the beginning, the gods, the Anunnaki, create the heavens and earth, but they didn't create. They re-engineered. So here is the interesting thing that the point that I want to get to is that the Anunnaki records, the Sumerian texts, the original text, not the Bible. See, what they did is they cut and pasted stuff over the text and put God into it, made it a religion, and made Yahweh, which was actually Enlil. That's his Sumerian name in the text. And Yahweh made it holy. You got to worship him, and all that religiosity was painted in, cut and pasted in, and the beginning of the historical text will put in God created the heavens and earth. What we have is that the Anunnaki, basically, I don't know, maybe they were out collecting minerals or whatever. Anyways, they find the earth, and the earth is covered with water, and there's no light. It's dead, and that's what it says in the Sumerian text, and that's what it says in the Bible. They carried that over into the Bible too. The earth was formless and void, it says in Genesis. So what they did is they cleaned up the water, and they took the water and they started putting in. Well, they started from ground one. Anyways, they re-engineered terraforming. That's what I'm trying to think of. They were terraformed the Earth. The Earth was already in existence. They went, oh, look at that dead planet over there. Let's go check it out. And they decided, like an old car they find in a bush, to polish it up and take out all the rust and fix it up and get it back to a normal functioning planet. That was Earth number two. Because it's all been fixed up and everything. This is Earth number two. This is existence number two. Because the original Earth, and there's lots of ancient cultures, more than a few ancient cultures that say the same thing, that the Earth was void, formless and void. There's water covering the whole Earth. The original Earth was destroyed. The original Earth was destroyed. They came along and said, hey, there's a lot of gold here. We'll clean it up and we'll mine for gold and we'll get the ball rolling. And so this makes you wonder, well, who created the first world? Because this could have been before the archons were even created. The original archons are the Anunnaki. Maybe it was so who did it? Did Yahweh create the first world? No, I don't think so. So there must be a higher power than that, higher power than Yahweh that created the first world, got really ticked off like Yahweh, and then just destroyed it, absolutely destroyed it. So this might, and this is what this, and then now this is what's going to happen in the Book of Revelation. The earth is going to be destroyed again. We screwed up. So it begs the question: who created the first world? And there's no such thing. There's no such thing. God only created one world, and you're full of it, and you're going to burn your ass off in hellfire. Yeah, but if you look in Genesis, there's two versions of creation. They're two separate creation stories. I think that maybe the first creation story could be the first Earth that was created, that turned into formless void. Um, Maybe and then the second one is when the Anunnaki stepped in and said and boosted it up and stuff. So this whole idea of believing in Yahweh is a fabrication, because that's not what went down historically according to ancient records. And the ancient records of most cultures by then agree that the earth was formless and void. There was no light. There was no water. I mean, there was no light, and there's tons of water, and it was buried underwater. Now, here's where it's getting interesting. Here's where it's going to get interesting. Um, if you look at Jeremiah, oh, I can't see it all. Oh, I got my magic glass. Uh, okay, 4 verse 23. Now, I'm going to lift this out of context because I'm not sure what the context is, but I don't really care about the context. Maybe this was cut and pasted in here. Oh, and there's another idea, because what does Yahweh tell Adam and Eve? He tells them to replenish the earth. He didn't say go out, hey, do your thing, have your parties, and populate the earth. He says to replenish the earth, referring to the first earth. So I'm going to get all my stuff off this video ripped off. And stick up for me if you can, because I don't get any credit for anything. Everybody steals my stuff and then doesn't give me credit. They even use my own phraseology and my metaphors that I make up. So anyways, it says, behold, I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void. That's from Genesis. The earth was without form and void. The exact same words. It was and the heavens the form and void, and the heavens they had no light. So, okay, that must have been the very first Earth. This is tough. I beheld the mountains, and they trembled, and all the hills moved lightly. Sounds like Revelation, doesn't it? Where all the mountains are moved. It's happening again, maybe. And I beheld, and lo, there was no man. Well, you got to replenish the earth. You got to fix the earth and replenish it. And all the birds of the heavens were fled. I beheld, and lo, fruitful place was a wilderness. So it's saying it's totally finished. Okay, the first earth was absolutely finished. Okay, there was no man, and all the birds in the heavens were fled. So it was very active at one time. So let's see. I beheld, and lo, fruitful place was a wilderness, and all the cities thereof were broken down. Cities? What? Everybody's got a freak now, eh? For thus has the Lord said, the Lord, gotta emphasize the D. The whole land shall be desolate, yet will I will not make a full end. Well, there's a clue there. For this shall the earth mourn, and the heavens above be black, because I have spoken. I have purposed it, and it will not repent. neither will I turn back from it. Okay. I think Yahweh's kind of making things up again. But anyways, that's a different subject. The whole city shall flee for the noise of the horsemen and the bowmen. They shall go into the thickets and climb up the rocks, and every city will be forsaken, and not a man dwell within. And then thou art spoiled with what will thou do? Though so though the cloth the ornaments of okay, so thou declarest thee with ornaments of gold. See, that's interesting, gold. Thou, I don't like this King James thou, and then through thou restest thy face with painting in vain. Thou shalt make thyself, thy lovers will despise thee. Okay, so I'll end there. So I don't know, maybe it's out of context, but if you take it out of context, it's like, when you read it, it's like it was cut and pasted in there. Oh, by the way, here you go. But isn't that amazing? So it kind of lends to the theory of the first Earth. The first Earth was very productive, very alive. It had cities and people, and then the Anunnaki come and they find the Earth and it's broken down. It's totally wiped out. It's completely flooded. And they clear it up. They had the technology. The Anunnaki had the technology to clean up the water of the earth and to bring forth land and everything. But then the Jews take that story and say, "Oh, that was God. That was God. Only He can do that." No, the Anunnaki had high-level technology never ever seen before, and so. They settled the planet. Graham Hancock really gets into it, and there's a show on Netflix with Graham Hancock's got like a series, and he shows how they built the cities for them, because all of a sudden they were just like at this end of the ice age. There was. Which is another in-depth discussion. Anyways, he goes on to say that all the ice age, and then these people, these deities, came out from everywhere, all over the world, saying, "Hi, we're from so and so place, and we're here to teach you how to build your buildings and how to plant crops, how to take care of animals, and." They taught them everything of modern society. Sumer was a society that there's supposed to be a bunch of I got the fire going, to a great civilization overnight, almost literally overnight, to a massive city, and most of our culture comes from Sumeria. They had the 60 minutes. They gave us 60 minutes. They gave us the 24-hour measurement and astrology and mathematics that we don't even understand entirely today. We go back. Astrology, it was the first of everything, of language and everything. And so now some people say, well, that's very benevolent. That's very kind of the Anunnaki. That's very kind of the Anunnaki to do that, to build up civilization, with the survivors. And they made sure some survived. You have all kinds of stories of, hey, pal, get a boat, because there's a big flood coming. The flood was to wipe mankind out, because mankind was growing spiritually, according to the other texts, not the Bible. Blasphemer. Uh, burn with fire. There's lots of texts from other spiritual sources that say mankind was developing, with the consciousness of mankind was elevating, and they drew away from Yahweh. Yahweh was no more the tin hat leader anymore. They refused to worship him. And so Yahweh, which would be Enlil in Sumerian text, decided, well, I'm going to have to get rid of them. And the Christian version is, well, there's so many Nephilim, and they were destroying mankind, and so they had to be put down because they were evil, and Nephilim were a problem. They were huge. What was it? Enoch says they were a mile high. Some of them, almost a mile high. And I've got a lot of pictures of mountain tops with profiles on them. Eyes, ears, nose, a head, where they died, these mile high, but that's a different subject altogether. And so I'm going to put that on my Patreon. I'm working on a video putting all the pictures together, and you'll know that they were Nephilim. Now, a lot of these mountains are petrified remains of Nephilim. So that's a different subject. So anyways, now I'm losing track here. Yeah, I see I'm off the tracks again. So the Nephilim kept their bloodline, and they do not really care for God. They do not, well, I wouldn't say that. God the Father is the true God, not Jehovah, the Jewish God of wrath, vengeance, and war. No. So anyways, they taught us how to take care of ourselves. They gave us corn. They discovered that there's a Indian corn, goes back 500 years. They kept it. And so it goes back 500 years. The natives lived off the corn. The Indian natives lived off the corn. It was their root supply for food. Just a second, let me get rid of this. There we go. Now I can say, 37 minutes. It was their root supply of corn going back 500 years, and they examined it, and it was genetically altered. It was showing signs of being genetically altered. 500, and that's what the Anunnaki did. They genetically modified food that would adjust to the terrain of their environment, and Graham Hancock has really blown the lid off all of this. They tried to shut him up and say, oh, no, he's too much ayahuasca. And he has demonstrated clearly that after the cataclysm, these races came out of hiding. There's all kinds of stories about how alien creatures kept them in the earth and protected them in the earth so that there would be survivors afterwards. So you take the Eskimos. They say they came from within the earth after a great catastrophe. So now all these alien beings come, and like Quetzalcoatl and all these types came forward and taught man the skills of life. How to they built? I think they built the cities for them. And look at the Great Pyramid. It's like, wow, you can't even duplicate it. It's so advanced and mathematically advanced as well. And then they seem to have gone away and left us alone on their own. But some say, well, that was very benevolent. That was very sweet. And I don't really, I think it's kind of a dicey situation with the Anunnaki. Because they wanted, their future goal was to have to mine gold. Their future goal was to mine gold, and there's evidence of it. And there's huge Nephilim footprints, imprinted in the structures of mud and stuff like that. Anyways, Michael Tellinger gets into that, a lot of detail into that. They wanted to mine for gold, and I think gold has interdimensional qualities. That's why they wanted the gold, but they didn't want us to know that. So they said, oh, well, you know, it's the planet, the atmosphere, the planet's breaking down. We need lots of gold. And, you know, and then in the future, we're going to turn into the Pope and have the Vatican collect all the gold, you know. And so Tellinger does an amazing job at that. And so they had to come up with a cover story because they didn't want us to know about interdimensional qualities of gold. Like, what? David Icke talked about that a little bit. So I'm thinking now the whole point of this video is that there was originally the first Earth, and whoever created that first Earth, now I have to say, was what do you call it? Simulation. So what the Anunnaki came, they didn't treat it like a simulation because they used all the tools of the simulation. Like I want to see, so I'll get a tool of the simulation. This is a simulation, but it physically helps my eyes so I can see, right? Moses. And they were limited, the Anunnaki were limited by the rules of the matrix, the rules of the simulation. They didn't change any simulation. They didn't create recreate. Or no, that implies they did the first one. No. They didn't engineer the Earth and then alter the matrix at all. They left the matrix as is. I think something that's maybe connected to the first Earth beings hacked the system, hacked the matrix, got in, and are extremely evil, and they want us all to suffer, because the more we suffer, the more loose we generate, which the archons feed upon. Now, you want to learn more about archons, there's the Christian Gnostic literature. You will find it at gnosis.org, gnosis.org. You want to go down the rabbit hole, just go there and study the ancient scriptures of the first and original and the creators of Christianity. They heavily were into Christ. They were worshiping Christ long before the church even emerged, you know. But they were slaughtered, totally eradicated from the earth. The first slaughter was the slaughter of the Cathars, which the Pope's soldiers would just come in and eradicate everybody, every man, woman, and child. Gone. And so these are hidden texts that were hidden for what, millennium, you know, well over a millennium. And then they got dug up, and it's changing the world now. They are changing the world. It's unbelievable what these scriptures are doing. They are so deep and so far knowledgeable than the Bible. The Bible is like a little kid story. It's just like little kiddie stories, you know. And there's little baby Jesus, and the cow came and licked his face. Yeah. It's just childish. And Christianity was developed for mind control, to keep people, that's not in the Bible, so I don't believe it. Okay, I gotta turn this, can I do it? Can he do it? There we go. Okay. So yeah, I'm not saying it's conclusive, but I think there's a lot of dot connecting there to indicate that there was an original world. Those people are gone. They were wiped out. They built cities and everything. They're long gone. And then the Anunnaki came to the broken down world, re-engineered it, and created this modern day Earth. But I think there were two Earths, and that's why Adam and Eve were made to replenish the Earth. Because Jehovah says in the Bible to replenish the Earth, not to fill the Earth, replenish it. So it's a mystery planet. I mean, it's a mystery Earth. Oh, shut this off. Uh, it's a mystery Earth. And who were these people that were on this planet? Did any of them escape? And who judged the planet and said, that's it, shut it down? Anyways, it was a simulation. And the Anunnaki found this Earth and worked with this simulation because it's physical. So they could terraform the entire Earth. So, anyways, I put this out as a little tidbit of something to chew on and to really investigate, research. And as I said, it's going to be exclusive to Patreon, but I'll do another. I got lots of material for Patreon. So, but I wanted to put this out as an introduction of what kind of video you'll be watching on Patreon if you're a member. And at first Earth, I mean, they came, the Anunnaki found it and just went, hey, look at this, and fixed it up and created us and created everything on the Earth and made it livable, and but there's an evil force that wants to put an end to it, and the evil force is in power right now, as you all know. You've seen the midterm, and how it works, and they want us gone. They want to cleanse the planet of humans. I thought it would be better for them to fire one of their known weapons at us to finish us off, and that is projecting comets. Smack here, but they don't. They're doing it. They're doing it at a different rate now. They're doing it with virus and weird diseases and stuff. I don't know. They've changed their. But who are these people? And what kind of society was there on the first Earth? I mean, I'm just bubbling with questions. Absolutely. And what did it look like? And did it have trees? Well, we know it had cities. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, like, give me some feedback here so I can get some ideas. I hope I explained it well, because I'm leaving this video now and I'm thinking, oh my God, did I ever mess that up? But I don't want to go over it again because it's going to take another hour to do it, and the sun's out, and, you know. Um, I don't think I explained everything too well, so feel free to ask questions. I think I get all muddled up because I get like 5 ideas coming in this way, 5 ideas coming in this way, and then coming this way, and they all come in at the same time, and I'm trying to coordinate it and make it, maybe I will have to write notes from now on. But anyways, there's another person, Michael Tellinger. He's got a 4-hour video that goes through everything from A to Z. You're going to go down the rabbit hole like you've never gone. Michael Cesarian, an absolute genius. Absolute genius. These two guys make David Icke look pretty slow. And is there anybody else? There's one other person that was good too. But anyways, Michael Cesarian is an absolute genius. If you want to get into Nephilim and stuff, he's the guy. Michael Cesarian and Michael Tellinger. He gets in the genetics and the Anunnaki and the mining and all that. It is really, really good. Oh, Paul Wallace. Look up Paul Wallace. He's got a 4-hour video. It goes through A to Z, and it has some of the most amazing information I've ever heard. And he just offers it to the world. I'd like to get his books. I think I'm going to order his books. It's just mind-boggling. So I want to plug those guys in for sure. Get their books because they look really, really good. I plan on getting the books too. So I guess that's it. I'm going to fold the show and goodbye, everybody. I hate to go. Gonna leave you all behind to face the truth. It's my theme song.